Taylor didn't do enough to win.
Does he genuinely think he's won, or does he think I'll live the fight another day and then sell the story that this was closer than what it actually was? I think my scorecard ended up being 117-111.
I'll be honest, I don't agree with that. I had it a lot closer than the scorecard.
You don't know, because there was such controversy after the first fight. There was so much outrage from people about the scorecards, and they thought Catterall had won.
I think there's a little bit of thinking about the first fight, because it was an injustice the first time they fought. The right man won. I don't think the controversy overshadows the bout, and it's good to get this put behind us now. I think that'll be the last we hear of these two coming together.
So no appetite for a third fight.
Do you want to see that fight again? I'm not so sure I do. Hello, welcome to The Verdict with myself, Carl Froch, the former unified super middleweight world champion, and my old mate, the Saint George Groves, former WBA super middleweight world champion. How are you, Georgie boy?
I am good, Carl. I am good. Unified you are, and 3 times world champion, not 4. So, but 3 is plenty, isn't it?
Thanks for pointing that out. I've got 4 belts though, so it feels like 4-time world champ to me.
Yeah.
We'll have a debate another time. But listen, without further ado, let's get stuck into Saturday fight night. Jack Catterall, Josh Taylor, the rematch. What is your verdict?
Yeah, so I was in the talkSPORT studios, Carl, for the fight. We were doing not really a watch along. We was on there for the boxing show. I was with Spencer Oliver, Adam Catterall. I don't think there's a relation, but so I was watching it like from across the studio with no sound on a technically a small telly from where I was sitting. And how I had it was scoring the rounds, and I had Catterall quite comfortable. I think my scorecard ended up being 117-111. Now, from where I was sitting and from what I could see, and obviously with no influence from maybe the DAZN commentary or any other commentary, or even from the crowd noise, I didn't get any of that. I thought Catterall was landing the cleaner, better shots in the majority of the rounds. I think after 6 rounds, I had him 5-1 up. Taylor just a little bit too predictable at times and a little bit too easy to hit. The jab was great from Catterall. I'm a jab man. I appreciate that. It had sting and snap on it. And then he had that out of the southpaw stance, southpaw v southpaw. He had that loopy, where are we going? Loopy left hand. So he pull out to the right, swing it over the top, and he was having success with that too. Thought he caught Taylor, hurt him a little bit maybe in the early stages, and definitely hurt him. I think it was the 11th round, or maybe even the last. It looked like he'd hurt him. But I had Catterall winning, Cole. How about you?
To be honest, I had it a lot closer than the scorecards. I don't think. I mean, what would you say? You had it 117-111. I'll be honest, I don't agree with that. I thought that Catterall kind of dominated early doors. He was landing the cleaner, heavier shots, the eye-catching shots coming from Catterall, definitely. Then Josh Taylor, I thought, had a bit of a rocket up his arse from his corner. And he stepped on the gas. I thought he was busier, putting shots together, putting pressure on Catterall, albeit not landing anything clean and precise and accurate and eye-catching, but he was busier. He was forcing the pace a bit more. And I thought Catterall, I thought he faded a little bit. I thought he was slowing down, but he tends to do that. It does slow down as it goes down like towards the championship rounds. But Taylor didn't do enough to win on my card. It was close. It was like probably 3 or 4 rounds, 4 rounds maximum. To Catterall. So the important thing is the right man won, but it was strange. I was going to say the 117-111 was ridiculous, but you scored it. You scored it the same 117-111, but it's subjective. It's what you like. Yeah.
I might go back and watch it again and score it differently. I was watching it whilst working, so maybe my full attention wasn't quite there. And it's hard to tell without being in the arena, without seeing and getting a sense of how the shots are landing. You said Catterall looked like he was faded, and I did think does he look tired, but that can really sway your opinion on who wins a round. If someone looks really tired, then you think, well, they ain't going to win this round if the other guy's pressing them and making them uncomfortable. But if they don't look too tired, because from where you're sitting it's not picking up, and then they land a couple of decent shots, that could win the round. Especially the way I score rounds sometimes is I don't always go for the guy who's backing the chap up who's throwing more shots. I'll celebrate the cleaner shots, the bigger shots, the better looking shots, the eye catching shots, and even if they're fewer within that round, I usually tend to give it to them. But I'm happy to stand in the firing line, Carl, if need be, and say your scorecards are a joke, and say okay, well I'll go back to the scoreboard and review. So you say maybe 2 rounds in it, so maybe had it 7-5.
I had it quite close, yeah. Did anybody influence you in the any of your colleagues in the talkSPORT studio? Was there anybody there blowing down your ear hole? What about Spencer? Was he on the case?
No, I mean Spencer. He's in full flow. I don't know if he was. He ended up. I think he had the same card as me, but I had my card before him, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of our rounds are
you,
different.
wasn't it?
A couple are not. Yeah, but he might have been. I think it was quite a swing in the last. Definitely the last 4 rounds. I think I had 1 round Catterall, 1 round Taylor, 1 round Catterall, 1 round Taylor. So, and there were some close ones, however you want to score them. But there's no champions, there's no big belts involved in this fight, was there, Froch? And when there's a world champion and it's a dead tight round, I think the champion deserves to have it. So maybe that's to play. And you don't know, because there was such controversy after the first fight. There was so much outrage from people about the scorecards, and they thought Catterall had won. You don't know whether you just subconsciously are like, well, I don't want to lean towards Taylor, or the opposite. I don't want to side with Catterall just because he got, a tough decision the first time. I don't know.
I think there's probably a bit of that. I think there's a little bit of thinking about the first fight, because it was an injustice the first time they fought. Catterall, for me, clearly won that first fight. And that was for the undisputed title. You know what I mean? Undisputed. I mean, to lose that in a fight where I did say on the night that I thought he threw it away in terms of he wasn't busy enough for the last 3 or 4 rounds. Catterall, I thought he was taking his time. There was no urgency to his work, but it was ahead enough. He did win the fight. Well, he didn't get the decision. But this one, did you feel it was really controversial? Did you think that there's been a lot of... It don't feel to me like it's massively controversial. I know Taylor thought he won on the night, but sometimes they jump on the shoulders and raise their hands to sort of show the judges that actually, if you're thinking about... If you've not written down the last round yet, have a look now, because I'm on the shoulders with my arms in the air.
Yeah.
And maybe you're leaning towards me, but did it feel controversial for you? And the feedback from social media, it seems like a lot of people are agreeing that Jack Catterall did enough, won the fight, and they're saying justice has been served as well. But do you think the controversy will overshadow the fight, or don't you think it's been that bad?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. I couldn't hear what Taylor's corner was saying to him in between rounds. Are they telling him that he's winning, and therefore at the end of the fight he shoots his arm in the air? Does he genuinely think he's won, or does he think I'll live the fight another day and then sell the story that this was closer than what it actually was?
Second half of the fight, he was getting good feedback from his corner work. His corner men were saying, "Listen, brilliant, you're on in now, you're winning these rounds." So he was getting filled full of confidence in that second half.
So I mean, I'm there. I'm in the talkSPORT studio, and then we see it flash up. Bob Arum, he's jumped in the ring, and he's accused. He's called controversy by his comments in the ring. So he says, those scorecards were a disgrace. I would never, ever allow an American fighter to come here with a British boxing, with a British board scoring the fight. So that's some strong words, isn't it? That is some strong words from Bob Arum. And the bit that I saw online was like, Bob, get out of the ring, mate. You've had your bit. Go on, off you go. Off you pop. So I don't know whether there was... I don't know what people were like in the arena. Was there uproar? Was there crying? Was there
No, I don't think so. I don't think... It's almost like you're trying to... I don't know, you're trying to make a story out of something that's not actually there. You know, you look for something, you look for a highlight, or you look for some kind of controversy. But for this one, I think it was closer. I think the only controversy is the fact that it was, in my opinion, was a lot closer than the scoreline suggested. I know you had it 117, 111 as well, but I thought Catterall won the first 6, 7 rounds clearly, or maybe even the first 6, and then the back end of the fight, I did actually think when I watched it that Taylor was having more success, landing more, certainly throwing more punches. He was busier, so he upped it, but he was walking onto shots. Catterall was timing him. Catterall wasn't as busy, he slowed down, but he hurt Taylor in the last second half of the fight. Was it round 9 or round 10? He caught him, walked him onto a looping left cross, the shot you were talking about earlier. It's a lovely timed shot, but he didn't really have the energy to go for the finish, Catterall. But he'd done enough. The right man won. I don't think the controversy overshadows the bout, and it's good to get this put behind us now. I think that'll be the last we hear of these two coming together.
Yeah. So no appetite for a third fight.
Not really. I know it's 1-1, but everyone thought Catterall won the first one. So, do you want to see that fight again? I'm not so sure I do. I mean, it was a good fight. It was good to watch, but first one was a bit of a robbery. It was a robbery. Catterall got robbed. Let's be honest. He got robbed on the points, and the rematch, he sold it, and he's now champ. So, I just think onwards and upwards now, and move on from this Catterall Taylor saga.
So if Catterall goes on, how does he get on against Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Matias? Does he beat any of those guys?
It's hard to say because I like his style. I like Catterall's style. Lopez is also tricky, moves well, ridiculously skillful. So that would be a bit of a standoff at times. But that's a good fight. I've got an appetite for that fight. And Devin Haney as well. I mean, how's Devin Haney going to be now when he comes back? Because after his fight with Garcia, I'm not so sure what he's doing or where his mind is. But Matias, also a great fight. There's 3 good fights there. I'd like to see the Lopez fight. I mean, Lopez is probably, I wouldn't say past his best, but I think his best days are behind him. He's still a great fighter. So that's one that I would be excited to watch, the Lopez fight. Catterall Lopez, for me, definitely.
Yeah, I agree, Carl. I think that's a great fight for him. I'd like to see it. Teofimo Lopez is WBO world champion, so that's the one of the belts that Catterall's chasing. So I'm sure he doesn't mind, which he feels like he should have been entitled to all of them after his first fight with Taylor. So and does Taylor stay at 140 or does he move up? I mean, there was talk of him moving up. He insisted they wanted to be back down at the original weight that they fought at. I suppose because if he beat him, he didn't want any excuses thrown at him that he just used size to his advantage. But I don't think he was the same force that he has been of prior years. Taylor, maybe he needs to revamp at welterweight now, go up. But obviously it's a scary division as well. When you talk about the big boys at 147.
I feel like he don't look big enough for 147, Taylor, and I thought he was fit for 12 rounds in that fight at the lower weight division. So maybe a move up's not the right move, but you never know. People sometimes go into the weight and all of a sudden they've got more strength, more punching power. So it's a tough one, I think. If this is the final chapter between these two fighters, though, just going back on it, do you think they'll look back? How do you think they'll look back on the insults traded and the bad blood shared and the build up to this fight in particular? Think they'll look back on it in any kind of negative way? I suppose me and you can look back, and we don't look back and... How do you look back on that? Well, let's answer the question first.
So
do you think they'll look back and have any...
Get your guitar. Go on, Carl. That's Oasis, isn't it?
Don't look back in anger.
Go get your guitar. Go on. I don't know. I can't see these two getting on. Like, let's get it straight. Like, Catterall did a lot of, and his team, a lot of moaning, a lot of whinging, and it sort of felt like that fight had escaped him. He didn't get the immediate rematch or whatever he was hoping for. He settled it down the line, and now I can't see Josh Taylor sort of eating humble pie, shaking his hand and going, "Yeah, well done, mate. You always beat me. The right man won." So I think it will feud on. I think it will feud on. Maybe much like us, if after I got robbed the first time, like Catterall got robbed, and if I'd gone and done a number on you in the rematch, we'd probably still be feuding, wouldn't we? You wouldn't have forgiven me for anything. We wouldn't be mates now. Great mates like we are now. So that's a shame for them, I suppose, that Taylor didn't win and he's missed out on a bit of friendship. Because that's how it is, isn't it? I mean, we're besties now. We do the verdict together. Listen,
you got your rematch for the was it the IBF or the IBF WBA? I think it was both them belts. But if say that rematch didn't happen, it's quite interesting. I mean, Catterall Taylor, I don't think Taylor will be very happy with Catterall because he's been beat and he'll be looking back going, "Oh, I thought I'd won the fight." Did he really think he'd won, or did he think it was close and he might get a decision? Because he lost quite wide on the night. I think he'll always look back and be annoyed. But he's got to realise that first fight was a bad one for Catterall to swallow, because that was a fight that many, including myself, thought that he'd won. and that was for the undisputed. So it's almost poetic justice. But Catterall did win the fight yesterday, fair and square in my opinion. I thought it was a lot closer than the judges' scorecard. It's just a good thing that actually the right man won. So George, are we saying that we're happy with the result? The right man won. They can put this behind them. Catterall now moves on from that, what 95% of people say was a robbery in the first fight. He's beat Taylor fair and square this time, albeit the scorecard's a little bit wide. You don't agree with that. Yours was wide as well. But the right man won, and now both men can go on and finish their career without looking back and thinking about each other. I think it's well and truly laid to rest, these two fights. I think Catterall can go on, hopefully get a fight, as we said, with Teofimo Lopez, and Josh Taylor can work out whether or not he wants to move up a weight division or stay where he is, regroup and kind of go back to the drawing board. Are we happy with where we're at with it now? Or do we want to see more from them?
I think I feel like we're happy with the decision. Catterall won last night, and the rightful winner. Scorecards you like to be correct, but they are debatable. But I feel like the right man won, and I feel that's enough now, Carl. I don't think there's a big scream up for the rematch. They've had two run-ins, 24 rounds together. Let's see where they go. They might meet up again in a couple of years' time. Who knows?
So we've got the 5v5 Queensbury versus Matchroom, Bricktop versus Eddie Hearn. What do you make of this concept? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's exciting fights that have been made and will be made. I'm not sure if I buy into them making out like it's all at stake thus far, and say, Wilder's fighting Zhang, and I would never really associate Wilder as a matchroom fighter, but he's in this 5v5 as a matchroom fighter. So I think there's poetic justice there. But if it means they're going to go out and sign new talent, it could be a really exciting storyline if it's going to be an annual thing or a biannual thing. So I'm in for it. I think they've made good fights to get excited about.
Yeah.
I just hope that, you might remember, Cole. Do you remember when they do like a London Select versus Vegas Select, or, England v Ireland, and they like to keep it nip and tuck as they're going through the card, because they want to know who's going to win. Is it going to be England? Is it going to be Ireland? And then all of a sudden, you're in the chief support thing, and you know that if you win, England have already won. So you've got to go above and beyond, so they don't just keep it interesting for the fans. I don't know if that'll be a case. It might be down to some scheduling, whether they know who's going to win or not.
Potentially, it could be a bit of skullduggery going on just to keep it interesting. I'm looking forward to that one you just mentioned then, though, Zhang Wilder, and the other heavyweight one between Dubois and Hrgovic. That's another one I'm really looking forward to. So that's it for another episode of The Verdict. Make sure you leave a like, share and subscribe to this channel. We'll be back next week, as I said, for the Queensbury v Matchroom 5v5. Until then, we'll see you.